Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon and this is Brandon's DIY Projects. On today's little episode here, we're going to be building some lumber storage racks. I got this pile of lumber in the floor here. We ain't going to use all that, but I need to get it up off the floor and out of the way so we can do some other projects in my garage here. I got that little bit of junk in the corner there also. We got to do something with that, get this place organized and cleaned up a little bit. We'll be building some shelves on this wall, but that'll be another episode. Try to get this garage organized as best we can so we can use it for other projects. We'll be building the lumber storage rack on this back wall here. And it's cold outside today. It's like 30 degrees and snowy, but it's nice and warm in here. We got the fire going back there. And I did have my little Mr. Heater propane heater going there for a little while, so we got it warmed up in here. Alright guys, so the first thing I'm doing right here is cutting about 24 of these little 6-inch blocks on the miter saw here. And as you can see on this side right here and on the bottom side, I got a 5-degree angle both facing the same way. And after I get all those cut, I move on to these 20-inch 2x4 blocks here. These are going to be the arms that you lay all your lumber and stuff on, but I'm also cutting a 5-degree angle on the back side and the front side of these blocks here too, as you can see. Now after I get done with these 20-inch 2x4 blocks, I move on to ripping my pieces of plywood. I'm ripping them 3.5 inches wide, and they are 4'8" long. I didn't need them 4'8" long, but I cut them that long because I wasn't exactly sure how long I needed them. So I just made them a little long, and then I cut off the extra after I got them all screwed to my 2x4 blocks. I cut them 3.5 inches wide, so that way they're just as tall as my 2x4s, because I'm screwing them to the side of my 2x4 blocks. So after I got them all screwed to my 2x4 blocks, I went ahead and cut a 5-degree angle on the pieces of plywood on both ends. Now when you guys start putting these little brackets together, you want to make sure you put all your 2x4s the same way, like all your 5-degree angles are facing the same way, because when you screw them to the wall, you want them kind of facing upwards, like kind of up toward your ceiling, I guess you would say. And you want to use some 2x4s for spacers in between those 6-inch blocks, so that way your 20-inch blocks fit in there as your arms whenever you get it all screwed together, so that way you can slide them in and out of there fairly easy. Yep, that's good. You gotta hold it straight. Now do it. That's good. Good job. Now as you guys can see, this little project here, this little lumber rack, is so easy a toddler could do it. That was my little helper, my boy, helping me screw those boards together. But anyway, I'm just putting some screws in these pieces of plywood, running them through those 6-inch 2x4 blocks I got on there. I'm just putting 2 on each side of the 2x4s, but I'm putting them on the opposite sides of the 2x4s, if that makes sense, I guess. So there's 4 screws in each 2x4, just 2 on each side, but they're opposite from one another, if you understand what I'm saying there. I'm not real good at explaining myself. Now as you guys can see right here, this is me just drilling those holes in these little 6-inch blocks. These little holes right here are for my lag bolts to go through without splitting and busting my 2x4s. I'd say the best way to drill these holes here is if you got a drill press, probably stick them in the drill press. It'd be a lot easier, but I don't have one, so this is how we're doing her. Alright guys, since I got my little fancy brackets here made up. I located the studs on my wall. These ones were pretty easy because you can see where my plywood's down. But I got this little stud finder here, but it's pretty accurate, like telling you where a stud is. Whoop, there's a stud, folks, right there. See, I told you that was pretty accurate. But I don't think it's very accurate on getting the center of the stud. It has a thing on here that tells you the center, but it'll tell you something different every time you move across the stud. Like if you start on one side and go to the other, and start on the other side and go to the other side, it's always different. But anyway, I'm kind of going to guess where the center are. I'm kind of going to line my level up with the nails. What I did was I decided how far down I wanted my bracket. So I took a tape measure, measured down from my ceiling down to how low I wanted my brackets. And then to get all my brackets the same height, I'm just going to take a level and level across my marks. And then I'm going to mark my center. And then I'm going to take and mark where the outside of this piece of plywood should run down the wall. Because these things aren't exactly straight, so I'm going to have to kind of bend them around as I'm screwing them to my wall. So, first thing you need to do is just find your studs in your wall and make all your marks wherever you want your brackets to be. So. Now, as you can see right here, I just held my bracket up and I marked the hole so that way I could pre-drill it. I pre-drilled all my holes, that way I didn't bust my studs. And here's these 6-inch lag bolts I was using to screw these little brackets up. Now, I forget what size, maybe 5/16 by 6-inch lag bolts. But I pre-drilled that one hole in the bottom so that way I could run a lag bolt in through this bracket and screw it to the wall, so that way I had a way of holding it. And then I kind of moved that bracket around to where it was level on my line, and I marked my holes. And then after I marked my holes out, I took the bracket back off the wall and I drilled all my holes in my studs. Another thing I also did was I marked my drill bits so that way I didn't go no deeper than I had to in my stud. I just stuck the lag bolt through the bracket, and then I held my drill bit up there and I marked my drill bit to how deep I needed to drill a hole in my wall. As you can see here, I'm just going back through after I get all my lag bolts in, and I tighten them up with a ratchet. Now right here I'm putting on my little 20-inch 2x4 blocks in. These are going to be the arms that you set all your lumber on. They went in fairly easy. I mean, I had to beat them in there a little bit with a 2x4 block or something, but other than that, it ain't too bad. I shouldn't be moving them too much because this is probably where I'll keep them at. It seems to work out the best for me. Well folks, the lumber storage rack is completed. I got most of my mess cleaned up on the floor, and right there in the corner I got some of that stuff cleaned up too. I kind of ran out of room because my shelf is just about full. You guys can see that light right there is kind of messing with the camera, but I got roughly, I was figuring about 600 pounds weight on those lumber storage racks. I got my vinyl siding up top there, then that's all 2x4s, that's 2x4s. I got a 4x4 and some other miscellaneous stuff right there. There won't always be that many 2x4s there. I just got that many 2x4s right now because I'm getting ready to build some more shelves in here and stuff. So there won't be that much weight on there all the time, but so far it's holding up, it's doing good, and it gets everything off my floor and out of my way. And I gotta kind of clean up this back wall right here because that's where I'm gonna be building some more shelves. So if you guys like this video, make sure you come back and watch the next one. Thanks for watching this one.